It's really scary what's going on over at CBS and 60 Minutes. We've seen the whole saga play out. You had initially Trump putting his pressure through the lawsuit and through the preventing the merger, and then leveraging that to get 60 Minutes to be afraid of doing certain broadcasts, leading to an executive producer leaving. You already had that happening. And then after the Paramount takeover, then Barry Weiss was implemented as the new editor-in-chief of CBS News. And now Barry Weiss just killed a story about the notorious El Salvadoran prison CCOT, where people against their due process rights, against the law, have been sent to rot away, regardless of the status of their legal cases, immigration-wise. And so you have this big story. Here's the trailer for the 60-minute segment on CCOT, which Barry Weiss abruptly yanked. We'll look at why she yanked it, but she's definitely right of center, I think you could say, and is trying to do a lot of reforms at CBS that are making people question if it will continue to be, especially something like 60 Minutes, the unbiased journalistic entity that it's been able to be. And on top of that, you have the Trump administration pressure. That is definitely something Barry Weiss is considering. And this was the trailer, then they never ended up running the segment.
It began as soon as the planes landed. The deportees thought they were headed from the U.S. back to Venezuela, but instead they were shackled, paraded in front of cameras, and delivered to CCOT, the notorious maximum security prison in El Salvador, where they told 60 Minutes they endured 4 months of hell.
Did you think you were going to die there?
We thought we were already the living dead, honestly.
So they'd done these interviews, already produced this whole segment, and then all of a sudden, someone who's clearly trying to make 60 Minutes and CBS much more MAGA-friendly yanks it. 60 Minutes correspondent slams Barry Weiss's political decision to axe her Trump deportations report in stunning internal memo. One just side note, a friend of the show, David Packman, was covering Barry Weiss and kept calling her Barry Weiss. And I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but it was so funny. He always does that. He's like, Tulsi? Barry? I don't even know. 60 Minutes, you love it. You gotta love it. 60 Minutes correspondent Sharon Alfonsi slammed CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss's decision to abruptly pull her report, slated to air Sunday night on migrants deported to El Salvador's infamous CCOT mega prison. Alfonsi trashed the decision as a political one, which amounted to corporate censorship in a scathing internal memo to staff. Obviously, this would be a report that the Trump world doesn't like. And here's the deal. CBS just did this big town hall with Erica Kirk, and it was so prominently pushed out as a major event. Okay. It's kind of weird for you then to turn around and go, I don't think this is newsworthy, which was her argument about the El Salvadoran prison. Wall-to-wall coverage of the Erica Kirk town hall, however interesting one might find it, is more relevant than the torture and abuses that have been going on at CCOT because of decisions by our government against court rulings. That doesn't seem right, because look at, this is what the argument was from Barry Weiss. I held a 60-minute story because it was not ready. While the story presented powerful testimony of torture at CCOT, it did not advance the ball. The Times and other outlets have previously done similar work. The public knows that Venezuelans have been subjected to horrific treatment at this prison. To run a story on this subject 2 months later, we need to do more, and this is 60 Minutes. We need to be able to get the principles on the record and on camera. And so they had testimony you saw there from victims of this, but she means we have to get a response from the Trump administration, presumably. But as this argument, or as this article, goes on to argue, that then gives the Trump administration an automatic kill switch for 60-minute stories, because they can just go, we're not going to comment on it. And then I guess Barry Weiss will go, oh, well, then we don't have the principles on the record. In her email, Alfonsi rejected the rationale outright, writing that CBS repeatedly sought interviews with the White House, Department of Homeland Security, the State Department, all without success. Their refusal to be interviewed is a tactical maneuver designed to kill the story. If the administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story, we have effectively handed them a kill switch for any reporting they find inconvenient. And I mean, this is the same 60 Minutes that was the subject of Trump's legal abuses because of the edit he didn't like. Then the Paramount, whoever, one of the associated entities, settled with Trump, it was Paramount, for a bunch of money to get him off their back. And did I say Skydance? Skydance, once the merger with Paramount, then Barry Weiss was installed. I think I might have said when Paramount took over. And then after that, they did an interview with Trump where they edited out this part where he got really upset, and they didn't even put it in the extended version on YouTube. It's just looking bad over there. It's looking really, really bad. And like there is some censorship going on from someone who might be more ideologically right-wing driven. One little miscellaneous thing. You know how Sean Duffy has been focused on all the wrong things, the transportation secretary? You need to dress nicer in the airport, and we're going to have gyms in the airport. Well, he's heard your criticism, and now he's focused on the golden age of transportation, which isn't just about dressing nicer in the airport, it's about investments. America is building, he wrote. There's now $1.5 billion going to infrastructure projects all over the United States. It's the golden age of transportation. That sounds pretty great, right? Yes, I love infrastructure projects all over the United States. I love improving our transportation. What's the catch, Jaden? Can you guess? Not so fast, Jack.
It's Joe Biden.
I heard you talking about anacondas. My anaconda do. So yeah, hey, it came from the infrastructure bill that Republicans opposed. There was some bipartisan support for it, but mostly opposed. The $1.5 billion in build grants announced by U.S. DOT for fiscal year 2026 is funded through the bipartisan infrastructure law signed by President Biden in 2021. The program was rebranded from RAISE, but draws from the same authorized funds. So, once again, the improvements that are being made under the Transportation Department, from all we can find, are all stuff that Biden's different bills made possible. And then you have different members of Congress, and I think Nancy Mace tried to pull another one of the look at the investments that are coming to. Oh, you voted against it. And the reason I bring that up is not just because it's interesting, but also because this is what we warned of, and I want to circle back to it from time to time, which is that a lot of these large-scale improvements in some of the major achievements under the Biden administration, just by the nature of the logistics of implementing such laws, are going to take a while for the results to be seen. And the second Trump won, I got that just horrible pit in my stomach that Trump was going to be going around with a golden shovel and bragging about new infrastructure projects that were a part of a bill that Trump was opposed to and that his predecessor actually got passed. What's this video? Let's see. Oh, beautiful. I'm going to get copyrighted for that. Dang it. I guess it's just pretty footage of things. So